We're going. We got audio? All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are gonna do just a walkthrough on the siding. Siding is just about done, and we are extremely happy with how it turned out. So we thought we'd just show you the siding that we chose. We have, what, 3 different sidings? We have some brand new LP nickel gap, the shingle, some lap siding. Is that it? Getting some drone footage on this beautiful Sunday morning. How fantastic does that look in the sunshine? So full disclosure, we partnered with LP on this one. So this video is sponsored by LP. I believe this is maybe the 3rd build that we've partnered with them on. You know, we're huge fans. We've talked about it for many, many years. I wrote the article about it for JLC back in, I think, 2017. And we've worked with LP products since the early 90s. So full disclosure, now you are informed. I think that's about it. And then of course those nice black Innotech windows. So just for frame of reference, this is a spec house, which informs a lot of the choices that we make. Even how we break up the siding, some of that kind of stuff, we try to keep it as simple as possible. So this is kind of your modern farmhouse look. It is white and black, as you can see behind me. So what you are looking at, let's just start at the top left. We decided to wrap the shingles around the right-hand side and the left. We'll show you that in a minute. So just that gable. We've got the little pop out. This is like the 6th or 7th time we built this house. So we're always trying to do something just a little bit different. And this was the very first time that we've used the LP nickel gap product, and we absolutely love it. You'll notice that from that belly band down to the water table, we're about 14 feet. So something to keep in mind that when you're using that nickel gap siding, you can't span plate lines. But if you remember from earlier videos, this is all balloon framed, meaning our plate height is at the very top of the gable and at the very bottom of that first floor wall. So we can go longer lengths on that. So if you were gonna use this product, you would have to break it up with belly bands at your plate heights, because you can't span farther. So that is all nickel gap through there, the shingles up above, and then we'll show you when we go around the side in just a few minutes. That is all the LP ExpertFinish lap siding with lap joints. There's a joke there. I've got some samples of each of those sidings in the garage, so I'll show you what's unique about those sidings and really what we like about those sidings. Okay, so first of all, this is the LP shingle, and I think this is now the 3rd house we've used it on. We absolutely love installing it. Like, I would be tempted if it was my own house to make the entire house this, because these are only 4-foot panels. It's really easy to side as one person. But we decided to use it as accents in the gables. So here's what's special about this siding in my mind. 2 things. One, you have the staggered edge. You can install it if you want that look with the staggered edge down. Or we can flip it over like we did here, and we have more of a perfection look down. So you have the options. It is a little bit different with the install. You just start left to right or right to left. Nothing else really crazy about that. Again, this is the ExpertFinish, so this is a factory finish from LP. This is the Snowscape White. Now, the way that this works together is that we have an underlap, and then this piece has the overlap. So when we put them together, we have a joint that matches the other joints. Now with the LP ExpertFinish lap siding, with lap joint, this was a relatively new addition to LP's family. So we've used LP products since the early 90s, and we've had fantastic success. Sometimes people ask us why we don't use fiber cement. Maybe someday I'll make a whole video on that. I hate everything about fiber cement. We installed it for many years. In fact, it's the very first article I ever wrote for JLC. I hate that stuff. Does it have its place? For some people, it has its place. For me, not so much. Okay, so we've used the LP lap siding, the SmartSide, for many, many years, and we've had really good success with it. It's what we have spec'd on our houses. And if we have a custom home where maybe the designer spec'd fiber cement, we've been able to talk everybody into using LP SmartSide with the exception of one job, because he just had very strong opinions. Hated every second of that particular job. It's heavier, it's shorter, I mean, the list goes on. So what's different about this is normally we have butt joints and we put either a pan flash behind or we caulk the butt joint according to the instructions, but this has a half lap. So I like to call this the underlap and this the overlap, and it literally, the overlap laps the underlap. That's the lap joint. That's all there is, and you just make sure that you maintain the spacing that LP calls out, and then that allows the siding to move a little bit. So it is an engineered wood product. It's an OSB siding. So just like your hardwood has linear expansion, and that's why you let it acclimate to the house, so your siding is also going to acclimate to its environment. So just a pro tip for you, we order this stuff at the very start of the project so that we can do all of our soffits as we go. So by the time we side, this stuff has already moved. So there's what the joint looks like. Okay, then the other thing, this was brand new to us, is the nickel gap siding. So it's a 7/16 siding. It also is an engineered wood product. We can go horizontal or vertical with it. And let me get this correct. When you click it together, you have a nickel gap. You know why they call it nickel gap siding? So we can go horizontal or vertical. Again, extremely easy to install. And what I like about it being a little stiffer Here's the thing though, if you're going to use a product like this, it is going to reveal any of the imperfections in your wood framing. So you got to be really particular when you cull your studs. And then for all the trim products, we used, I think pretty much everything on this house was 5/4 by or 1 inch thick. So this is 5/4 by 4, 1 inch by 3.5. And again, snowscape white. Any of the cut edges, you just have to make sure that you paint with a touch up as you go. So that is the snowscape white. And then of course, we have the abyss black. Hey Jordan, do we have any of the little dabbers extra? So along with the ExpertFinish, you obviously need the touch-up. So LP provides that. There's two kinds. The first time we did it, I'll be honest, we did this wrong. So whenever you have a cut end, we'll just show this in real time. This is all you have to do. Now we have it match. And then we try to make sure it just doesn't build up because you can get a sheen difference. So on every one of the cut ends, you would have to do something like that. Now I'll show you the nail dabber. So this is a little bit different. So wherever we have nails, we obviously don't want that gray nail. Let me flip around this way since I'm correct-handed. And this is literally all you do, is you just start painting the nail head. By the time that's done and dry, you just won't see them. I would suggest setting the pressure so either the nail needs to be driven slightly with a hammer or it's perfectly smooth. And that's all there is to it. The other thing that I think it's worth keeping track of is you want color match sealant. So we really like the Dynaflex from DAP. You can go on their website, you can find the siding manufacturer, in this case LP SmartSide, then you find the color of your siding and trim, and then you just get the caulking with the right SKU number. And then it matches the siding. No mixing or anything like that. Okay, so here on the front porch, we decided to use the nickel gap. Of course, this is our black Inotech windows. These are out of Canada. They're a European style tilt turn window, triple paint, extremely energy efficient. So to match that black, we went with the black trim and of course the white nickel gap. Now this is what our local LP rep, he recommended that since we were gonna do the nickel gap here, then let's use some of our cutoffs and do the soffit. So normally we would run full panels of LP sheathing as our soffit board, but this time we decided to go front to back with the nickel gap and just kind of match that look. So let me know in the comments below if you think that was a good move. I think it looks really good. When you drive up, it is a good looking house. Of course, we still got to do a lot of wiping off. It is so dusty here right now that every time we drive in and out, it coats everything with dust. And then as we came over here, the idea was that this nickel gap would be the whole porch and that it would come and it would wrap around the side. One thing to keep in mind, normally we would use 1x corner boards, but all we could get at the time was 1 inch or 5/4. So drawing all this out, we had to pad out the water table and then get custom metal bent because we're big fans of shadow lines. We don't like it when this corner is smooth with this corner, but just having that set back a little bit, it's just little things. But it actually means that as you side, things just don't have to be perfect because the shadow line will break things up. Let's go around to the side and I'll show you the big wall, the great wall. Okay, so if you remember from previous videos, this is the great wall redux. Yeah, that's right. 44 feet long, 25 feet tall. This entire wall is framed as one unit. It is sheathed, seams are taped. We add all of our overhangs and then we lift the whole thing in one unit. So it's entirely balloon frame. Those studs go from the bottom plate all the way to the top plate. Now you notice here, this is just the thought process. I'm not a designer. So you could see from the architectural design on the front, we have that gable. Basically the decision was whatever that siding was, we're gonna turn the corner with it and just stop it at that fascia line. So it's the nickel gap, it's the shingle, and then from this fascia line this way, then it's all that LP ExpertFinish with the lap joint. Again, the Inotech windows, we have water table, belly band, lap siding, belly band as we like to call it, and then the shingles up top. So around front, I mentioned that we pad out the water table for the shadow line. When it comes to the belly band, we pad that out the same thing. We pad it out about at 7/16. We use up scrap wall sheathing, so 7/16 1/2 inch. But we rip those so that we can tuck our siding behind that belly band. Then there's no sealant. Sealant is a maintenance item, so we try to minimize that wherever possible. Also, it means that we can go a little faster. Our cuts don't have to be perfect because no one will ever see it. It's tucked up and behind that belly band. So as Steve Basic says, there's always something ugly about a house. The mechanicals, all that kind of stuff. This is the ugly side. So the line sets for the mini splits and the HVAC coming out here, not the most attractive thing. And then we have the rector seal for the penetrations that seals them in. We have the septic risers here. We have the fireplace out. We have some bath fans that all come out. It's not the prettiest side, but it's got to go somewhere, right? So we planned for that. so that they come out the belly bands. That's from the bathroom, and then the septic heads that way. It's the side of the house. It's not nearly as important as the front of the house. So that's basically a look at the building. It's like I said, we try to keep things as simple as possible. Installing the nickel gap is really easy. Read the instructions, follow them. There's really no learning curve to that. The only thing I would say is if you're using any kind of a pre-finished product, is just plan on bringing out some towels to wipe things off, either as you go or when you get done. We're just getting everything done, doing all the touch-up, all the caulking, sealant, and then just wiping everything down as we go. So there is, I don't know what you want to call it, kind of the modern farmhouse look. Probably the next video, we'll do a walkthrough when the entire inside is finished. The bat insulation goes in tomorrow, and then we're just going to keep rolling through the rest of this house. I know some guys that build really high quality houses here in Port Orchard, so if you want a good deal on a house, then just leave a comment below. This one will probably be on the market here in the next 4 or 5 months. So if you have any questions about the siding or anything else in the project, leave that in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you so much for following along. Hit that like and subscribe button. By the way, today is Thursday. Monday, we start a brand new project. So make sure you tune into that project. We're going to document the whole thing, similar to this one, but even better than we did this one. So thanks for following, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.